Hi there, JB here, and we're at the world launch of the World Raid, Yamaha's newest Tenere. And interesting bike. I think at the beginning of this test I didn't quite fully understand what it was. And I got a feeling some of us English guys, particularly, we're very bad at understanding concepts, if you like. We see a big tank and we think long distance tourer. Literally, that's what we think. It's probably not the case. If you look at this picture here, well, maybe there's another one that's really good that shows the bike full lean, full gas. It's fundamentally actually a rally bike. Okay, there's a reason why it looks like it is and why the price it is because Yamaha have taken the Tenere and given it a rally makeover. So this means more expensive suspension, front, and you can see this because of the Kashima coating. That is not a cheap product to produce. Same with the rear suspension, full adjustability. And then you have the big 23-litre tank. You've got an Olin steering damper. You've got certain little elements about this bike that bring the rally competition element into this model. And it's kind of important to have that in mind. That the spin-off of that is it also becomes quite a good travel bike because it does have fuel capacity to go long distance. The rally seat that we have is actually more comfortable than the standard one on the standard Tenere. So there's these little bits that make it a dual purpose machine, if you like, in an extra sense. So anyway, that's important to bring into your mindset before you go, what is this bike? Equally, you sit there and you're going, crikey, it's slightly expensive. It's pushing the Tenere price point up. But what we have is specific to that end purpose. For instance, in the TFT screen, you can have an ICO system which allows you to sort of like put intense adjustments on your miles traveled, which is important if you're doing roadbook competition. So they've been very, focused, if you like, in that sense. So that's what it is. What does it feel like when you ride it? Well, curiously, it does feel just like a Tenere up to the point where you move forward and you find the big tank. And there's a sense of extra bulk, obviously. You can't get past the fact you have got this width and everything, and it does give it a different feel, but the actual dynamic is pretty much exactly as we recall. Equally, even though it's a taller bike and it's got the plus 20 on the suspension to give you more ground clearance, there's an extra 15 mil underneath the bash plate there. Even with that, it still feels like the original bike. Admittedly, my one, I have full preload on everything and a rally seat anyway, so mine is already tall. So it doesn't feel a lot different to me, but if you had the standard Tenere on the standard seat and you'd lowered the preload on the rear, yes, this one is quite a bit taller. But otherwise, it feels very similar. I do like the addition of the rally pegs. I've got to say that bit. These are very nice, a little bit broader than the last ones and a little bit more rugged. So what Yamaha have created is a sort of a competition bike, and you think competition bike and then you think 70 horsepower because that's 74 horsepower I think it is, and you go, is that enough? Because in the context of some of the competition which is producing 105 horsepower and more. But the point is, you don't necessarily need 104, 105 horsepower off-road. And this is what I've noticed when I've been testing it. On the road, you're going, you feel like you need a bit more. But the on-road is not the specific bias of this bike. The specific of this is rally, and the 70 horsepower, and then you notice this, the moment you go off-road, it works really well. And it has a simplicity which is working with that rally concept. So you don't have added complications like traction control and rider modes, things that could fail in a competition situation, leave you stranded. It's just one mode, which is you and your throttle hand and the 70 horsepower. And that is more reliable, if you like, in a rugged, outdoory situation. So I think with this bike, you have to get your head around what the concept is. And once you've got that, you understand the design decisions that the team have made to create this bike. And you understand the price point, because a lot of the talk was about the price point here and saying, well, for the same money, you could have the Triumph or a KTM with all the whistles and bells. But that's not the market Yamaha are looking at. That's another market. This one is for the rally guy who's really serious about going off-road, doing African rallies, doing sort of big Iberian rallies and stuff. And for that, he needs something that's, if you like, a little bit more basic, but really up to the job. And when you look at the suspension, and as I said, the Kashima coating, which is pretty exotic, all the adjustability, that's where they're headed. And equally, you know, the autonomy of a big tank for desert rallies, it's so important. So this is what Yamaha are focused on and brought it together. So just a few upgrades that you need, such as the TFT to give you the ICO function, and then left off all the stuff that you don't need. So you get a good base rally machine, and that's it. And it is that. It does ride really well. I'd love to have tried it on something a little bit more rugged on the tyres, just to explore more what it can do off-road, but it's fine. It works really well. So anyway, thought to give you that, and that's pretty much it. I mean, it's a cracking bike. You know, as I said, I could say more, but I can also write more, and I can write more succinctly. So we'll leave it to that and say, read the report for more detail on what's what on the bike and how it feels. But the important thing is to get that in your head, as it was for me actually. It's taken me about 3 days to get there. But the point is, it's a rally model. It says it on the side, World Raid. Get that in, and then you understand where it's from and whether it's for you.